This is your Math Gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. This is part 2 of finding trig functions for multiples of 30 degrees. And in part 1, we found the trig function for 60 degrees by using this 30, 60, 90 triangle that we developed. All right, which you kind of want to memorize how that looks. The smallest side's 1, the medium side square root of 3, those are the legs of the triangle, and then the hypotenuse is 2. So now let's do it for a 30-degree angle. So let's draw 30 degrees. So here's like a 30-degree angle, let's say. I'm just estimating, of course. And so the question, you somehow want to, pick a point up here. And you have to pick this up and think, all right, let's see. Along the side between 30 degrees and the right triangle, right here, right? That's down here now. So it might make sense to say, how about if I make that square root of 3, okay? And then I go up 1. Then I have this same kind of looking triangle where the hypotenuse is 2. Or the radius is 2. Now, if you want to write this as an ordered pair, remember that's square root of 3, 1. So in other words, square root of 3, 1 is one of the points on this terminal side of the angle for 30 degrees. So what do we have? We've got that x is square root of 3, y is 1, and r is 2. So it shouldn't be any problem writing the trig functions. So let's do it. Let's do the cosine of 30 degrees. All right, so what's the cosine? Let's just do the cosine, the sine, and the tangent, make it simple. So the cosine will be square root of 3 over 2, x over r. All right, how about the sine of 30 degrees? Well, that will be the y over r, or 1/2. And how about the tangent of 30 degrees? That will be y over x, so that will be 1 over square root of 3. I'm going to need a little more space for that one, so I'm going to come down here. The tangent of 30 degrees would be 1 over square root of 3, which if you rationalize the denominator by multiplying the numerator and denominator by square root of 3, that could be written as square root of 3 over 3. Now, if you were wanting to find the secant, you would take the reciprocal of cosine, and then you could rationalize the denominator. If you were going to do the cosecant, you take the reciprocal of the sine, which gives you 2. And if you were doing the cotangent at 30 degrees, you take the reciprocal of 1 over square root of 3 and just get square root of 3. Okay, so we can do all 6 trig functions for 30 degrees as well. To remind you what we got for 60 degrees, let's look back. This is what we did in part 1. We did it for 60 degrees instead of 30 degrees. And the interesting thing is you get the same values, but they're in different places. So let's see those side by side. So this basically summarizes what we got if we took these 3 trig values. We figured out the cosine of 30 degrees, what we got, and what we got for the 60 degrees. And notice the cosine of 30 degrees square root of 3 is square root of 3 over 2, and that's the same as the sine of 60 degrees. That's because in the triangle you're looking at, the x and the y values are switched, basically. So the cosine of 60 degrees and the sine of 30 degrees, they're both 1/2. Okay? Same thing with the tangent, you're just switching your x's and your y's, and so these happen to be reciprocals. Okay, no reason to memorize this. I always draw a picture each time. I've never memorized it after all these years. I won't even tell you how many years I've done this, because to me in my mind it's easy to draw that 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now, if you do something like use a different angle that's in a different quadrant, then the signs are going to be different. You might have some positive and negative numbers in here. So if we do something like the sine of 120 degrees or 150 degrees, then we have to pay attention where it is in the quadrant, whether the x or y values are positive or negative. And so we'll be doing that on the next video. This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.